Just wanted to pop on real quick. I am so excited about today's video. It is a mega video. I have 15 Christmas DIYs in this. I just wanted to put something out with a lot of DIYs in it. A lot of these are from last year. There's one or two from this year, and I just wanted to put some of my favorites in just to give you all a little bit of inspiration. I'll be coming back a little more often throughout the video just to stop in and say hi and chat with you all a little bit. It's a longer video, but it is a mega video, so I hope you'll enjoy. I am so excited to have each and every one of you here. Y'all already know I love and appreciate each and every one of you. If you're not a subscriber, I would be honored if you would hit that subscribe button. And if you are a subscriber, again, I love each and every one of you, and I appreciate you more than you will ever know. The look that it gives. So I got a Merry and Bright sign and 3 Christmas tree cutouts. All these are the wood pieces from the Dollar Tree. And I picked out 3 pieces of scrapbook paper that I got from Michael's. Now we're just going to remove all of the tags. We're going to take our 3 trees and we are going to trace them out. We're going to do this to all 3 trees. I'm not going to make you watch me trace all 3 trees. But one thing I do is I go ahead and label these because we all know nothing at the Dollar Tree is cut equally. So I want to make sure I get them on the right trees. So after we get them all traced out, we're going to cut them out, and now we are just going to attach them to their corresponding wood. Now we're going to use our Mod Podge, and same thing, all 3 trees, just give a pretty thick layer of Mod Podge. Now I'm taking my Merry and Bright sign. I am going to paint each one of these words a different color, so I'm just using some masking tape here and just taping off where I need it to be. And for the Merry, we are going to paint that in red. Bright, we're using an apple barrel green color. I can't remember the exact name of this. I want to say it could possibly be a grass paint our and sign in white Waverly chalk paint. We're going to do some polka dots. So I just dip my brush. For the Merry, I dip my brush in some green paint, and we go ahead and put polka dots all over the Merry with green. Then we move on to our and sign, which is the white, and we're going to put red polka dots on that. We are going to polka dot that with now I'm going to take a paint stick. I'm going to glue one of the trees on the end of one end of the paint stick, another tree on the other end of the paint stick, and then we are going to glue the 3rd tree right there in the middle. Now, I did this to help it stand up. It still did not work. So I went ahead and took another paint stick. These are just 1 gallon paint sticks, and I glued it right to the front. After I get those paint sticks on there, we just go ahead and paint that with some Waverly white Mod Podge and put a pretty thick layer down. And then I'm taking some of the fake snow from the Dollar Tree and sprinkling it all over. I do 2 to 3 layers of this, and you can see the mess that it makes. Then I'm going to take some greenery off of a Dollar Tree pick, and I'm going to put 2 pieces at the tips of each one of the trees. We're going to make 3 bows with 3 different ribbons from the Dollar Tree, just super simple shoestring bows. We are going to glue one of those on each of the trees at the greenery, and that's it. How stinking cute is that? This could possibly be one of my favorites. I absolutely love how this turned out. Box that I got from Michael's. It was on sale for 99 cents. We're going to use that and some Scrabble letters. And the first thing I'm going to do is take some red apple barrel acrylic paint. We are going to paint all around the edges of the outside of the frame, and that includes the sides there. And then on the inside of the frame, we are just going to do just a little bit, just the edges on the inside of the frame. If you get paint in the middle, that's fine. We're going to cover that up with scrapbook paper anyway. Now, I did a full coat, but I did like a full messy coat. I wasn't worried about if some of the wood showed through because y'all know I'm more into rustic anyway. So on this, I didn't distress it or anything. I just let what wood showed through show through. The next thing I do is I go ahead and take a piece of scrapbook paper from another Michael's paper pack, and I stick it down in there and then just try to get the indents of where the inside of that box is. This was the easiest, or the inside of that frame is. This was the easiest way that I could find to do this, so I didn't have to like trace and all that. It was just easier. So then I go ahead and cut that piece out, trim it up. We put it in just to see if it's going to fit right. Once we get the exact fit that we want, we take that back out, and we are just going to use a glue stick to glue that back down. This was, you know, I could have used Mod Podge, but I did not want this to bubble up on me, and I'm not great with Mod Podge still. So I just went ahead and went for the glue stick. After we get that finished, we are going to take our Scrabble letters and we are going to spell out "Oh Holy Night." Now, y'all know I do not measure anything, so I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. But the way that I found to do this was I did night first. That way I kind of could center everything the way I wanted it. And at first I was going to come right down the middle with it. But then I decided to go over towards the left more with the O and the holy. And I just love how it turns out. But you can do this in any way that you want. So I did the night first, and then I go ahead and do the O. And then I about burnt my finger off there. And then we go ahead and finish up with the holy. Again, you can put these on however you want. I've seen them where they're in the shape of a Christmas tree, like the words are, and that's super cute too. But I love how this one turned out for me and the way that my decor usually is. You can see that the H on the holy is a little bit different. That's because I ran out of H's and I had to make my own with an I. But I think it still turned out super cute. I'm still very proud of this. I see these go at Walmart for anywhere from $5 to $8, you know, depending on how big they are. And I saw one really similar to this for $5, and I made this for $2. Yeah, I only saved $3, but I also made it, which was something that I love to do. So for me, it was a total win-win. Next, we're just going to take some greenery off of some floral picks from the Dollar Tree. We are going to layer it in a swag shape up at the top. I do 2 layers. I do a snowy layer and then a green glittery layer. And still not done for me, so I go ahead and take some ribbons from the Dollar Tree, just random different ribbons, and make a messy bow. I know some people aren't fond of messy bows. I love them. I think they're beautiful. And I'm not a great bow maker, so this just works out perfect for me. And I like the fact that you can use just like scraps of ribbon. And you can use up all those things that you just kind of cut off. So I just think it's super cute. Then we're going to tie that messy bow up with some twine, clip off the edges, and glue that right in the middle of the greenery there. And then I wanted to cover up where that twine was. So I go ahead and take some more twine. This I got at the Dollar Tree in the automotive section, and it came like 3 rolls to a package. And I'm just going to make I think this is called a finger bow. I learned this from my friend Amanda over at 6 Kids and a Glue Gun. Shout out to Amanda. Thank you, girl. And I love this simple bow, and I love the look it gives. So we just wrap it around our finger a few times, tie it right there in the middle with some more jute, cut off that excess, and we're going to glue it right to the middle of our messy bow. Then we go ahead and trim up our ribbons a little bit and cut down the tails on the twine bow, and that's it. How stinking simple was this? And so adorable. I love how this turned out. Hey y'all, how are you liking the DIYs so far? I love Christmas DIYs. I had a company reach out to me a couple of weeks ago and asked me if I would like to review one of their products. And it's not a craft product, but it has become a staple in my craft room. It is the LFF Weather Station. I absolutely love this for the simple fact it comes with a really large display screen. It also comes with 3 weather sensors. You can put these outdoors or even in other rooms of your house if you want to do that. The bottom display displays like this room temperature that I'm in. That's what that's displaying, and the humidity. And then these 3 here are the sensors. So these 2 right here I have outside this one and this one I have outside as a sensor, and this one I don't even have it on really. Well, I have it on, but it's in here, so of course the temperature is going to be greater in here than it is outside. But I love the fact that it shows like, can you see here? it's showing like raindrops, and that's because it is raining in Kentucky today. It is crazy. The weather has dropped significantly. It's 61 degrees right now. Yesterday it was 70 some degrees. And it also shows you, like our outdoor sensor here, it shows that it's wet. This also has a huge time display, which I love, because in my craft room, sometimes I'm listening to my phone, or I have something going on my phone, so having that time display where I don't have to hit anything to see it, I love. The date, it also has alarms, which for me is great, because a lot of the times when I'm working on housework, or maybe laundry, or I've got something in the oven or something like that, when I'm back in my craft room, I don't necessarily hear my washer or my dryer or my stove when they beep like that they're done. So what I can do here is I can go ahead and set alarms for the time that it's going to be finished. And even though out where my things are in my utility room and in my kitchen, those will still go off, the beepers will still go off, here I will get an alarm, or an alarm telling me, okay, hey, this is done, and you can go right in there and get it done. So I absolutely love this. I love the huge display of it. It has become a staple in my craft room, and I hope that y'all will check them out. They have been amazing to me. They've been very patient, and y'all, you can see I like the colors too. My granddaughter is going to love this. She's going to think it's an iPad or a tablet or something like that she can watch things on. But if y'all are interested, I'm going to leave a discount code in the description box below. Make sure you go check them out. And again, thank you so much to LFF for asking me to review one of their products. I am not disappointed. Even if it's not a typical crafting product, I absolutely love it. So y'all, let's get right back into the DIYs. Okay, y'all, for this project, we are taking 3 beads. 2 are of one side and 1 is a little smaller. I'm going to use 1 full Jenga block and then, or tumbling tower block, and then 1 smaller one that I cut about 1/4 of it off of there. On the full one, we're going to go ahead and paint that with some olive green Craft Smart craft paint. Then we are going to take the one that we cut, and we're going to paint the bigger part of that the red color. And then the smaller one we are going to paint white. Next, we're going to take the smaller piece of the tumbling tower block and glue the smallest bead onto that. And then we're going to glue the other 2 beads onto the other 2 blocks. We're making just a little small nativity set. You all have seen me make these before, but I absolutely love them. After we get those glued on, now we're going to go ahead and glue our red and green one together. Then we're going to take our little one and just glue it right to the red one, because the red is Mary and the white one, the small one, is baby Jesus. Now we're just going to put a little block on the back of it just so that it will stand, because I wanted this to stand on like a tiered tray. Now I'm going to take some twine and just wrap it around the entire piece, and just a little dab of hot glue, wrap it around the entire piece, and then glue with a little more hot glue. And that is it. I absolutely love how this turned out. I love anything nativity, and these are so super simple. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think of this one. Just took one of these Christmas tree cutout signs from the Dollar Tree. I go ahead and remove like the tag and the string that's holding it, and then I go through and I paint 1 good coat of Waverly chalk paint in white. And the reason I do this, I'm going to make this red, but it's kind of a slick material, so I thought if I put the chalk paint on first, the red would adhere better to the sign, which it does. So I'm glad I did this. But after our 1 coat, now we're going to use some Craft Smart acrylic paint. It's just a red color, y'all. Now I'm going to take one of these yard stake signs from the Dollar Tree that says Be Merry and has a picture of Santa Claus on it. We are going to remove the some white chalk paint and cover up that Be Merry. Now that we've got that finished, we're going to take our Gorilla Glue gel and some hot glue. We are going to put it on the sign. And then we are just going to put our Santa Claus face right there on that glue. Now I have cut off some decals with my Cricut. One says Santa, and I'm just going to put that on there. The font that I used for this was the skinny, and I will try to remember to put that in the description box. And then I also made another decal that says stop here. So this is a Santa stop here sign. I wanted to give it just a little bit more, so I take my fan brush and some white Waverly chalk paint and just go through and do the edges to kind of mimic snow. I did put a little messy bow on the top of the Santa. I forgot to show. I apologize for that. But here's the finished project. How stinking cute. Using two 1-gallon paint sticks and then another 1-gallon paint stick. Actually, I think I used two to cut into 3 5-inch strips. So the 2 full paint sticks we are going to paint with white Waverly chalk paint, 5-inch pieces, and we are going to paint those with red. This I do to finish. We are going to start putting a little ladder together. What I'm going to do is I am just going to put those pieces right in the middle of the smaller pieces to make our ladder rungs. I put that other paint stick down at the bottom just to kind of make sure that it's even. See, I cannot even talk today. But anyway, to do this, I just put some Gorilla Glue gel and some hot glue on the ends of the paint sticks and stick those down on the ends of the 5-inch paint sticks. Stick those right onto one of the full paint sticks. Get those down on one of those, then we are going to stand it up. This is the easiest way that I could find to make sure that I got it even. And we are just going to put our Gorilla gel glue on each of those and another tad of hot glue, and then we are going to stand that one up. I take a cutting board that I got off of Amazon, a little bitty one, and I'm cutting that handle piece off with my amazing new saw that my husband got me that I'm so thankful for. And then I just go in and sand it and round my edges with some scissors and sand that again. Now I'm going to paint that piece of cutting board red. I do use 2 good coats of the red front, back, side ribbon, and I'm going to put a piece along the top and a piece along the bottom. And now we are going to take a decal that I made on my Cricut that says Elf Surveillance Team, and we are going to stick that right to our little sign. Now we are taking some of this green mesh ribbon and I'm just wrapping it around my sides of my ladder. I just put a little bit of hot glue, wrap it all around, and then glue it down at the bottom. After that, we are going to, I have to see what we're going to do. Oh, we're going to glue on our elf. Now, I couldn't figure out exactly how I wanted to do this, so all I did was run a bead of hot glue on one side of that ladder there and stuck my elf to it, and then I just flip it over and reinforce with a little bit more hot glue. After we get that finished, now we are going to glue on our sign, and I am just taking some hot glue, going along parts of that ladder there and gluing it. I am gluing it at a little bit of an angle. Now I'm just going to take 2 of these wooden stickers from the Dollar Tree. They are stockings, and I took the sticky part off the back, and I'm just going to glue those to 2 rungs of the ladder. I'm going to take some ribbon, red and white gingham from the Dollar Tree, and make a simple shoestring bow. Cut it off and put it to the side. Now we're going to take another gingham ribbon, black and red this time with some snowflakes on it, and make another simple shoestring bow. Cut that off, and we're going to cut off a little piece of twine. Now we're going to glue our 2 bows together, just one right on top of the other. I love the look this gives. I think it's super cute. Then we're going to take our twine and thread it through a little jingle bell that I got from the Dollar Tree. Tie a knot in that, and then we are going to tie that around. Now, after we get that finished, we're taking our bow and our bell. We kept that excess twine on, and we are just going to tie it around the top of our ladder there. And that's it. Elf Surveillance Team. I think it turned out adorable. What do y'all think?
Hey! Hi, bud. The Santa's kettle. That was dry.
Say it again.
The banana's dry.
So I found this Farm Fresh Christmas trees piece of scrapbook paper in a package that I got from Michael's. I loved it, wanted to make it into a sign, and so that's what we did. So we're going to take one of the Hello Autumn round signs from the Dollar Tree, take off the sticker and the hanging materials. We're going to trace around it, and then we're going to cut it out. After we do that, we're going to go ahead and use our glue stick and glue it on the back of the Hello Autumn sign. I decided just to take some red and white gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree, the Crafter's Square section, and we are just going to glue that right on there. Now, when I first did this, I was still kind of in the iffy stage. I was like, you know, maybe, but I don't want it to look like a hodgepodge. But I think after I got all 4 pieces on there, I put them on a little bigger than what they should have been. And then I go through and cut around them to make them match perfectly to the sign. And I think that's what made it. Go ahead and do a little bit more embellishing. So we take 2 pieces of greenery from a Dollar Tree pick, and we are going to glue those down in a little swag down there at the bottom. Then I take one of the little red truck ornaments. I take off the hanger part, and we're going to glue that right in the middle of that. Then I take 2 pieces of greenery again and wrap some of that gingham ribbon around the bottom and make a little bundle. And I do that twice, and we're going to glue those to the sides. Still felt like it needed something, especially at that top. So why not stick with the greenery? Because this is a Christmas tree sign anyway. So we go ahead and do another swag at the top. I love how this turned out. Super simple. Not even $1 to make, y'all. Well, actually, a little bit over $1. But I think it's adorable. So for this one, we're just going to take a little picture frame from the Dollar Tree, a hymnal page for Joy to the World, and some little star cutouts. So the first thing we're going to do is take off that front piece of our picture frame because I didn't need that for this, but I do put it to the side in case I want to use it again. After that, we are going to take everything out of the picture frame, glass and all. Now what we're going to do is stick our glass over our little hymnal page there, trace it out, and then cut that out. Then we're going to glue that right to the back right to the little insert of the frame. Next, we're going to take one of those, or 3 of those little stars, and we're just going to paint those with one good coat of Waverly white chalk paint. You only have to do the front. You don't even have to worry about the back because you are not going to see that. Then I decided just to take this red and white gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to go all along the sides of this, and then of course when we're finished, when we have all that gingham ribbon on there, we're just going to cut off the excess. Now we're going to go ahead and put our glass in, and then put our hymnal sheet in, and we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of greenery on the edges there, just like catty corner in the upper left hand corner and the lower right hand corner. Then I did go ahead and put a decal on our stickers that says joy, or I'm sorry, our stars. We're just going to glue those right to the glass and make some super simple jute bows, put those right on top of the stars, and that's it. I love how simple this was, but I absolutely love the look of this. Take a pool noodle from the Dollar Tree, and I cut it into 4 different sizes. Cutting with my X-Acto knife, you know, about what I wanted. You could use more than one pool noodle, but I only bought one, so I wanted to get 4 out of this. So I cut one off, then I used it to cut another one the same exact size, and then the piece of pool noodle that was left, I just cut. You're going to take some some craft paper from the Dollar Tree, wrap it around your pool noodle, cut it off where it wraps around at, take your pool noodle out, and then you're going to start cutting horizontal cuts into this craft paper. After you get all those cut, you're going to go ahead and crumble each of the circles, or each of the strips up. And again, you do the same exact thing on all the pieces of your pool noodle. Or yes, for your pool noodle. Then we're going to take some Mod Podge, and we are going to start Mod Podging our craft paper. I cannot talk, y'all, this morning. I've only had 1 cup of coffee. On to our pool noodles. This is the same exact process again for all 4 of the pieces of pool noodle. I'm not going to make you watch me do every single bit of this because y'all, we'd be here forever. But same exact process. Now you want those where you crumbled it up. You can see those indents and the craft paper and all that. You can't see it as much right here, but you really do when it's all finished, and it looks so good. So you're going to go all the way down the pool noodle. You can overlap the pages or the pieces if you want. You don't have to. Now we are going to take some toilet tissue. You can use toilet tissue. You can use more scrapbook paper or more craft paper. You can use paper towels. I liked the look of the toilet tissue just because it was thinner. And I'm just cutting it into strips. Tearing it into strips, tearing it apart, and crumbling it up. These are going to be our little knot holes. Now, after we get all of them crumbled up, we're just going to hot glue them on various places on each of the pool noodles. Now, you can do as many or as less as you want. After you get all those on there, we're going to take some white chalk paint by Waverly, and we're going to go through and paint every pool noodle. Now, we're just painting over this craft paper. It does not have to be perfect. If you want some of that brown to show through, definitely just do a lighter coat of the white. I wanted it to be fairly white with a little bit of the brown showing through, but it's whatever you want. Now, you do go ahead and paint that toilet tissue also. The more absorbed and wet that toilet tissue gets, the better off you're going to be. I just go through and just kind of dab it on there. Now I'm going to take some gray chalk paint and some water and make a little stain. And we're going to do this exact same thing. Our white paint is dry. Now we're going to paint over it with this gray stain. This this is not a heavy coat. It may look like it, but it's not. Because I definitely want a lot of that white to show through. After we get that finished, you could see my knot holes were a little too big. So I just go through, I tear off some toilet tissue, and repaint over them. I don't do this to all of them, but some of them I do. Now, this is what our logs look like after the white coat and the gray coat. Now, I'm going to take some Waverly chalk paint. I want to say this is cashew. And I'm going to water it down also with some water. Now, what I'm going to do is paint a light coat, and I'm doing this in sections also. I'm going to paint just a really light, stripe around it. And then I'm going to take my toilet tissue. You can use paper towel, baby wipes, whatever. And I'm going to kind of wipe and dab at this. I started out wiping it, but then once I saw how the dabbing method did, this was so much better. So I'm going to do this to all 4 of the pool noodles, all the way down the pool noodle. So now again, just painting it on there lightly and dabbing it off on all 4. This is what we look like when it's finished. Now we're going to glue our 2 bigger pool noodles together, side by side. I just used some hot glue. Then I go down in that little crease right there with hot glue. It's okay if it makes a mess. You're not going to see that anyway. Now we're going to take the 2 smaller pool noodles. We're going to glue one on the back log and then one on the front log, the smallest one on the front log. I do use the hot glue on the side log and the bottom log. After we get that finished, we're going to take some buffalo check ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and we are just going to wrap it around our pool noodles. And then I go ahead and wrap it in the middle and all the way around, in the middle of the buffalo check ribbon and all the way around our log. And then we cut it off and we just glue it down. Now we're going to make a little bow. This is the best bow I've ever made, and I'm so excited about it. I'm going to try to explain it to y'all. So I'm just making a little loop with my ribbon. Then, because this is a one-sided ribbon, I have to twist it to make my loop on the side. Then I pull it, I gather it at the bottom, twist it again, make another loop. I do 4 loops on each side, and I twist it between every loop just to make sure that the right side of the ribbon is showing. I did learn this on YouTube. I cannot remember who, but I will go back and try to find out who it was and leave a link in the comment to this video, because this is the prettiest bow I've ever made, and honestly, it's really, really simple. So after, I'm pretty sure I did 4 loops on each side. It may have only been 3. But after we get all of our loops on each side that we want, now we're going to cut off our ribbon. We're going to leave a little bit of a tail. My bow is going to have 3 tails. There's your first tail. Next, you're going to cut another piece of this ribbon. You're going to kind of fold it in half. bunch it up and go to the back of that bow and just hold it in place. Now we're going to take our, what are these even called? Chanel stem pipe cleaner, put it through and wrap it around the middle. Now we're going to go ahead and cut that loop and make it our other two tails. And we are just going to dovetail all three. Now we are just going to glue our bow right on top of our wood stack. And now I'm just going to let you kind of see how I decorate. I take a lot of picks from the Dollar Tree. I put 2 little greenery picks on the side, some berries on it, and then a piece of the green, I don't even know what that stuff is called, like garland pieces, garland picks, whatever, and put that over top. I do the same on both sides. And here's what it looks like. I absolutely love it. Y'all make sure you let me know what you think about this one. For this was a charger plate from the Dollar Tree, and we are going to paint 1 good coat of Waverly chalk paint in white. It just needs 1 good coat because you're basically going to cover this entire thing, or most of it. So I really didn't worry if it was not a full coverage coat. It wasn't that big of a deal. Next, I'm taking 2 blocks of floral foam and gluing those right beside each other on the plate. Now I'm going to take 2 of the Dollar Tree Christmas trees. You don't need the ends. You don't need the stands. I just take all that off and throw them away in the end. And then I put 1 through the foam on each side of the plate. Now I'm just going to go through and fluff all the branches out. They all just need to go, you know, this front way. You don't need. I'm going to take some of this mesh that I got from Hobby Lobby. We're going to wrap it around the end of the Christmas tree using the Christmas tree branches to tie these on instead of like pipe cleaners or anything. Then I just make a loop, put it on some more wrap it around some more branches, and the same thing at the end. Now I end up doing 2 loops on each side. Then I go over to the other side of the Christmas trees and do the exact same thing. Again, we're just using those branches to wrap around this mesh instead of using pipe cleaners or zip ties or anything like that. Just makes it easier. Now we're going to take, and then I cut it off, of course. Now we're going to take some black and white check mesh and do the same exact thing. You don't have to put them in the same spots that you put the burlap mesh, just however you think is going to look nice. And I'm going through and fluffing up a little bit, but y'all, I'm telling you, it does no good to do that until you're done with your project and you can really fluff. Again, 2 poofs on each side. I don't know any other way to say that, so going back over to the other Christmas tree, doing the exact same thing. 2 poofs, you know, using the Christmas tree branches as our wraparound. Cut it off at the end, and there we go with that. I do poof out a little bit, but until you get it all done, it just makes no difference. Now I'm taking 2 ribbons from Michael's. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing the same exact thing with these, only these aren't really, I don't know if you'd call these poofs. I just put it in it at the end. I guess maybe. I don't know, y'all. And then I just kind of string it to where I want it and then do the same thing. And I do this twice on each end. Now, the reason I do this instead of cutting my ribbon and then putting them in is I found that I wasted less ribbon if I did it this way, at least for this project. This probably won't work for everything, but for this project, it did work. So actually, I think I did it 3 times maybe on this. Let's see here. Yeah, I used 3 like strands of ribbon there. You know what you all can see what I'm saying. And then cut it off and go do the exact same thing on the other side. Again, just using strips, doing it like this because it does save ribbon. I noticed when I cut the ribbon and then dovetail it and do this, that, and the other, I lose a lot of ribbon, and ribbon's expensive, y'all. So that's why I just do this little method. I don't do this on all of my projects, but for this, it worked out really well to do it this way. So again, we're just, and put as much ribbon on as you want, y'all. You don't have to just use 2. You can use any colors, you know, make this your own. But I wanted this to be kind of farmhousey, farm, red truck, you know, things like that. So that's why I use this ribbon. I'm sorry I didn't show you making my bows, but I did just wrap the ribbons over on top of each other and then scrunch them in the middle with a pipe cleaner. I made 2, and what I'm going to do is just pipe clean those together. Pipe cleaner those together, and so it looks like 2 2 ribbon bow, I guess. Y'all, it's been a day, I'm telling you. So now, and then I do put some of that garland around the center of the bow, and then I just glue it right there on the top. Now, I needed a pedestal, and I could not find anything. So I took an empty ribbon spool, wrapped ribbon around it, then put another piece around the edge. And what I do is I go ahead and fold it like a present there at the top and just glue it down. I wanted it to look halfway decent, but it didn't have to look great because I'm going to glue something right on top. And this is a great thing to do if you need a pedestal and you don't have one. Simple, cheap, you know, just wrap it up. And then I'm going to take my Farmhouse Christmas house that I made in a previous DIY. I'll try to remember to link that in the comments and glue that right to that ribbon spool. Now we're going to glue our ribbon spool onto our foam and just go through and start having fun with some decorative picks from the dollar store. I didn't use a lot. I just cut them up, and I absolutely love how this turned out. Y'all make sure you let me know what you think about it in the comments, but I'm in love with it. Our little, whatever you call that thing we just did. And I'm using a greenery wreath from Michael's, and they were on sale for like $5.99, so it was a really good deal. And what I'm doing is I'm taking 2 different kinds of mesh, can be any color. I'm scrunching them up on themselves, putting them in my Bodabra, and making little poofs out of these. I love this simple, easy method for a wreath. Next, I'm just taking, I think, 4 or 5 different ribbons that I did cut for this one, and stacking those on top of the poofs. And what we're doing is we're making a full poof. Now we're going to bring up our zip tie, after we press it down, of course. Bring up our zip tie, get it secured, and we're going to put that to the side. I ended up making 5 poofs for this. I do go through and cut off any excess string that's coming off that mesh. Now what we're going to do is start attaching it to the wreath. And here I just did one just to see how it would look and kind of poof it up and see. I'm making a little space down there. I want to have that space open so I know that's where my bow's going to go. Now here I take pipe cleaners around the little poofs. I put 1 on top and 2 on each side of the wreath, just wrapping them right around the wreath there in the back. And I do it this way. I wanted some symmetry, but I didn't want it to look, you know, completely perfect. Farmhouse is never completely perfect in my eyes. And so that's why I did it this way. You can turn these poofs any way you want. Again, use any color mesh, any color ribbon, any of that you like. Make it your own. That is the great thing about DIYing, is you can find something and see it, and then you can turn it into what you love by just putting a little spin on it that's yours. You know, my wreath may look totally different than someone else's, and it's only because of the ribbon that was used and the mesh that was used. So again, make sure y'all just make it your own. Then, I'm sorry I lost the footage of my bow, but I will try to leave a link in the comments or in the description box of me making one of these bows. I just put that right on at the bottom. Then I found a little sign from Walmart for 98 cents after I fluff all my ribbon out. I put a little pipe cleaner in the top of it, and I just secured that also to the wreath, and that's it. How stinking simple. This wreath may have cost me $10, and you definitely can't buy them for that. So if y'all like some of this 9-foot garland from the Dollar Tree, it was way too long for me. I just needed half of this, but instead of cutting it, I just folded it over on itself and then kind of braided it or wrapped it together, like just twisting it together, so it became about 4.5 feet long, which was perfect for what I needed because it's going on my fireplace, and I definitely didn't need 9 feet. Now I'm going to take some pipe cleaners and go around or go along this, and I end up putting 11 pipe cleaners, and I just use my Cricut Joy mat just to kind of see where I want them. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I wanted a little bit of symmetry in this, so that's why I do it this way, and I end up with 11 of the pipe cleaners on our garland. Next, we're going to take that same burlap garland, scrunch it up at the end, and put it right there into our first pipe cleaner. Then what we're going to do is make a little like bubble almost. I think this was probably about 8 to 12 inches long, and I just let it poof up in the center there. And we're going to do that all the way down our garland here. Now, this did not even take a half a roll of mesh of this one color. So it was pretty affordable because I got this mesh on sale for like $4.99 at Michael's. So, or maybe it was Hobby Lobby. But anyway, it made it pretty affordable because I could have made 2 of these. Once we get all 11 of those little poofs done, we're going to do the same exact thing with this black and white buffalo check mesh. Same exact thing. Go all the way down it. Make 8 to 12 inch. I'm going to call them poofs, y'all, because I really don't know what else to call them. Bubbles. Down your garland. This is super simple. The hardest thing for me was I don't have a really large workspace. So my garland kept wanting to slide off the table. So this is what we've got when we've got all of these in there. Now we're going to go through and kind of spread these little bubbles or poofs out just to kind of give them a little bit of dimension here on our garland. But until you get this completely done, you know, it's not going to make a huge difference at this point, getting them all poofed out. Now I'm going to take some ribbon. I take 4 different kinds of ribbon and I cut 11, I believe, 8 to 10 inch strips. And then I go ahead and dovetail the ends. Now, I do take 2 smaller ribbons and I didn't have enough of either one of those. So I made 6 of each on that. And I'm just making little bundles. And you can do this however you want, with as much ribbon as you want, whatever colors you want. And I end up making 11 bundles on this. I use the smaller ribbon on some, don't use it on others. I change up my pattern for which ribbon goes where and which ribbon, you know, it's however you want to do it, y'all. But this was what worked for me and what looked good with the other things that I have made in this video. So after we get 11 of these little ribbon bundles, we are now going to take them and start putting them right into the same pipe cleaners. So you're only using 11 pipe cleaners for this entire project. So that is not bad at all, because everything is going to go right into the same pipe cleaner. So again, just put them in there all the way down, all 11 pipe cleaners. Fluff them out if you want. If not, you can always wait until the end of the project to get them all fluffed out. I kind of do a little bit of both. I fluff out a little bit and then do it a lot towards the end. Next, I'm going to take these little little truck cutouts that I got from the Dollar Tree. They come 5 in a pack. I'm going to paint all 5 of these red. It's just a red Arteza acrylic paint. I'll try to remember to link that in the comments. After we get them all 5 painted, we're going to take our green, like olive green Arteza chalk marker and color all of the trees in. I'll try to remember to also link those. And then some black Arteza and just do our tires. After we get that finished, we are going to start at the second bundle and we are going to just glue our truck right there in the bundle. After that, we're going to go every other one and glue a truck on. Now I'm going to make some little barns. I just take these little tags from the Dollar Tree that come like 6 or 8 in a pack. I only had 4 left. So I go ahead and cut them down a little bit and cut them in the shape of a barn, paint them red, use some brown Arteza chalk marker to just add some little details in on these, and that's because I couldn't find the black, y'all. And after we get that finished, I tried to make little wreaths on there by drawing them. They were horrible. I'm not an artist. So I take some of this green garland from from Hobby Lobby's wedding section. I cut a little piece off, make a little circle in it to make like a wreath, glue it right onto the top of our barn there, and then take some red berries off a pick from the Dollar Tree and just glue those right on there as well. Again, my wreaths did not look good that I tried to draw. So I just went ahead and used this little garland. I love this stuff. I try to keep it in my stash all the time because it's so versatile and can go with so many seasons. So, and I always try to get it when it's on sale. So it's like maybe $1.99 for a bundle of this. It is a great deal. After we get that finished, now every other one of those poofs that does not have a truck, we're going to go ahead and glue on our barns. As we do this, we go ahead and try to get everything fluffed out, and y'all, that's it. Look how stinking cute this garland is. In all reality, this may have cost me. Okay, y'all, we are getting close to the end of the DIYs. I'm absolutely loving putting 15 DIYs out really quickly to say, I want to send Christmas cards out to my subscribers. I'm going to say subscribers, but in all actuality, my friends, because y'all mean so much to me. And I just want to give back. So if you are interested, and there could be a little surprise in your Christmas card, if you are interested in getting a Christmas card from me, you can look in the description box below, and there will be my email and my Instagram so that you can send me your address and I can get a Christmas card sent. So we're going to get right back to the DIYs. This is probably the last time that y'all will see me. So I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, on Monday we will have a live. No content yet. Haven't decided what it's going to be. It may just be a little let's chat. So y'all, I hope you have an amazing, amazing weekend. I love each and every one of you. I appreciate you all. Don't turn off just yet. Don't forget, we've got a couple more DIYs. I love you all. And such an impact on decorating. So I started off with 2 rolls of the black and white buffalo plaid and 2 rolls of the red and black buffalo plaid from the Dollar Tree and a string of 20 mini lights from the Dollar General. Now, I only used 1 bundle of each of these instead of 2. And we're just going to make like a little rag lighted garland. So I'm just going through and I'm just going to cut all of our strips out. And I just do that by making a little notch at the top of the fabric and then pulling it down. And you could see I was notching and then pulling, but then I decided just go ahead and notch them all out. That way they're kind of spaced pretty evenly. I used the check pattern as a way to make my pieces, that's the sizes. And so I just go ahead and notch it all off and then I go ahead and pull them out. I do the same exact thing on the black and red buffalo plaid. We're just notching up at the top and then going ahead and pulling them so that they come apart. After we get all of that finished, we're going to take those strips and cut them into 3s. They don't have to be perfect. Just cut them into 3 different pieces for each strip. That's how we get away with only using 1 bundle of each of these fabrics. I do the exact same thing to the red and black and to the black and white. Now we are basically just going to start tying our little pieces onto our lights. And between each light, I'm calling a section, and I believe it's 5 in each section. I started with the red and black, and then I alternate the red and black and the black and white. So if I start with red and black, I end with red and black. Does that make sense? And then on the next section, I start with black and white and end with black and white. I hope that made sense, y'all. And then at the very end, after the last light, I go ahead and do 1 more section of the little rags here to tie that on. That way it kind of gives it a little bit more of a cohesive look and you don't have as much of the light strand showing. Now you can use a bigger light strand. Of course, if you do, you'll use a lot more fabric, but I just wanted a small one and you can stretch it out or just leave it together like it is, if that makes any sense. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and pull off any excess stringies, because we all know when we do a rag project, there's going to be stringies everywhere. But I do still want stringies. Does that make sense? Sorry, y'all. Y'all know how I am with these voiceovers. But anyway, this is what it turned out like. I decorated it around a little deer, and I think it is so adorable. Y'all make sure you let me know. DIY number 3. For this DIY, we're going to take one of the fall cutting boards from the Dollar Tree and some Nimbus chalk paint by Waverly. This is becoming one of my favorite colors. I absolutely love it. We're going to paint 2 messy coats on the back of this cutting board. I do messy coats because I want it to look aged and worn, but you can always do 2 really neat coats if you want to. Now I'm going to take some stencils some decals that I made on my Cricut. The first one is this farm scene, which I love. And if I can figure out how, I'm going to link these these cutouts in my description box. I did use the buffalo check vinyl from the Dollar Tree to cut out this farmhouse, and y'all, it worked really well. It's a little crazy to weed, but the cutting is perfect. And I use my washi on the washi setting. Sorry, I'm losing my words today, on my Cricut for that. Then, of course, we just put Christmas. Now we're going to make a messy bow. I'm going to take, I cut out 6 pieces of this buffalo check ribbon from the Dollar Tree. Sorry, I don't measure, so I have no idea how long these are. Just whatever size you need, and I dovetail the end of each pieces of the ribbon. And then, of course, I'm using my bow dabber. These are perfect for messy bows also. I just stick my little zip tie down in there first, and then we're going to go through and just stagger out our little messy bow. I'm showing y'all this messy bow, and then I don't even use it. I'm going to use it for another project, but it just didn't work on this one, in my opinion. But y'all let me know, would you have rather seen the messy bow or the bow that I'm actually going to use? So after we get that finished, I'm taking a pick that I got last year again from Michael's, I believe it was, and I'm taking some pieces off of greenery, and we're just going to glue those down there. Then this is where I changed my bow idea. I really liked this one from the Dollar Tree from last year's Christmas collection, and I just go ahead and use that. We're going to glue it right to our greenery. Still needed a little bit more. I go ahead and glue some berries on there as well. And this is what it looks like. I absolutely love this. I think it's so stinking cute. So y'all let me know in the comments what you think. These are all super simple. Okay, we're going to move right on to DIY number 2. For this one, I'm going to take a 5-gallon paint stick that I already had in my stash. A lot of this stuff is already in my stash, so I'm counting my cost. So my cost is going to be a little lower than yours because like I said, I already had some of this stuff in my stash. But we paint that paint stick black, 1 good coat with chalkboard paint. Now we're going to take these galvanized farm animals that, again, were in my stash, and we are just going to cover them with some buffalo check vinyl from the Dollar Tree. The chicken I did in black and white, the pig I do in black and red, and the cow I do in black and white. This is one of my favorite uses for this Dollar Tree vinyl, and I'm just cutting it down to the size that I need, sticking it over my piece, and then I turn it over and cut off any excess with either a craft knife or a utility knife. Either one will work. And I love how these look when they're finished. They look so cute, and they actually look like they came that way. And another benefit of this, it covers up those little holes that are there from the twine that they're supposed to be used to hang up on. So that covers up those holes. You don't even have to worry about that. But again, I like to do this. Again, it's one of my favorite uses of the vinyl from Dollar Tree. And I love to cover these animals and other different things with this vinyl. After we get those 3 finished, we're just going to put those to the side. We're going to take another thing that I had in my stash. And this is just a little sign from springtime. We're just going to remove the staples and the stickers. The staples left a little bit of a raised portion, and I could not find any sandpaper. So y'all, I just used a little bit of emery board that I have. That tip comes from Emily, also from Farm Charm Chic. After we get that finished, we're going to paint this entire sign, fronts, backs, and all around the edges with 2 good coats of Waverly white chalk paint. It's a little hard to paint on that front side because of the paper that's on there. I never try to take the paper off. It always makes a bigger mess. Next, I'm going to put my little decal on that I made with my Cricut that says Farmhouse Christmas. If you do not have a Cricut, you can always write this. You can go to Walmart, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, grab some stickers. I'm trying to work on my handwriting skills because I'm an awful handwriter. I almost flunked 2nd grade because of my handwriting, because I would love to just hand letter these, but if y'all have any tips, let me know. Next, I'm just going to take this little, I guess I'm still putting on the decal. After that, I take this little color your own ornament that's in the shape of a Christmas tree from the Dollar Tree. And from the star down, we are going to cover this with some more of that black and red buffalo check vinyl. Flip it over and cut it out with our craft knife also. Now, y'all know I never do things cohesively. So I needed to paint that little star. So after I get my vinyl on there, I go ahead and paint my little star just with some white Waverly chalk paint. Again, y'all know I don't do things the easy way. After that's finished, we go ahead and glue that right to the side of our little sign here. Now we're going to put our piece together. So we're going to take our paint stick and we are going to start gluing our pieces to our paint stick. So I'm gluing the Farmhouse Christmas sign up at the top, and then I'm going to glue my animals. Now, you could glue these like opposite directions, like the head facing one way on one, the opposite way on the other, but I wanted all mine to face the same direction. Does that make sense, y'all? So on the chicken, I just go ahead and put my glue right on the chicken and then put it down where I want it on my paint stick. But on the pig, the pig and the cow, I put my glue on the actual paint stick, and I got it a little more than what I needed. Y'all will see here. I tried to rub it off and get it off, but it doesn't work, and it leaves some residue. But don't worry about that. We're going to get that covered up. So after we've got all three of our animals glued on, now we're going to take these buffalo check bows from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to alternate them. The red and black one at the top of the chicken, the black and white one between the chicken and the pig, a red and white between the pig and the cow, and then a black and white down at the end. And you can see there that that covers up all of that glue residue that we got, because y'all, I always use too much glue and too much Mod Podge every single time. Now I'm going to take some Garland ties, and I just cut them down, and I'm going to just wrap them around the animals' heads or necks. And I don't even glue these. I just wrap them around there, and it works perfectly. I don't have any trouble with these trying to come off. After that, we're going to go ahead and I take some little berries off of a pick, and I am just going to glue those right in the center of our Garland picks there. I love how this turned out. This is my favorite project of this video. Now we're going to take this little crate from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to cover it with buffalo check vinyl, the red and black. I do cover all four sides. I don't worry about the bottom, and I do go over the top a little bit so that it can stick down into the crate. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. And I do that just because I am going to put some floral foam in there, but I want to make sure that any of the crate that you could possibly see, or any of the inside of the crate you could see, is covered with my buffalo check vinyl. So here I am just doing the first side. I'm not going to make y'all watch me do all of these sides on here. I'm just cutting it and kind of wrapping it like a present. Here we are on our last side, and you can see inside there where I have put the buffalo check on the inside also. Now we're going to take some floral foam, and we're going to stick that right down in there. I did take my paint stick and go ahead and put a little hole in there for where I want my paint stick to go. Now I'm just going to put some glue in there. We're going to stick our paint stick down in there and then reinforce on the back with a little bit more hot glue, just to make sure that it's good and secure and snug inside of our floral foam. Next, I'm going to take some more of those Garland ties. I should have done this to begin with, but y'all know me. I don't do things the easy way. And we're just going to fill in all of that floral foam with our Garland picks on the front and the back, just to make sure it's all covered and that you cannot see it. And then I do add some fairy lights down there at the bottom and glue my battery pack on the back of this piece. And that's it. I absolutely adore this. This is so stinking cute, and it's definitely my favorite in this video. Again, we're using another piece of the Ready Board foam board from the Dollar Tree. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this not exactly in half. I'm going to cut it at 14 inches. And I'm using my Cricut mat because I could not find anything I couldn't find my measuring tape or anything else. And then I'm using a Dollar Tree sign to use as a straight edge to cut this right in half. And I just cut it in half with my craft knife. Next, I'm going to take one piece of this, and we are going to cut, the longer piece of this, and we are going to make 2-inch marks. I'm just marking with 2 inches, and then I'm taking a pin without my point out, and we're just going to kind of go through and, I don't know what you call this, score it, because I want it to look like shiplap on this. On this first piece, we score our lines vertically. Now we're going to take some red and brown paint that I mixed together to give me the color that I got. And we're just going to start painting this. I do 2 good coats on this. You could mix this with wax, like clear wax, and dab it on with a sponge. And it will not warp your foam board as bad. This warped mine a little bit, but I was totally okay with that. But because I didn't have any sponges or wax, so I just decided to paint it. I paint 2 good coats on this, and I kind of pounce in those scored parts, those scored places, so that my paint can get down in there. And I do really messy coats. We are making like a mantelpiece barn, and I want this to look very jagged and very worn looking. On our other piece of foam board that we just cut off, the smaller piece, we're going to make 2-inch lines again, but on this piece, we are going to make those horizontally. So we're just going to measure them out. Then we're going to take our pin without the point out and score along that just the same exact way as we did the other one. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to paint this with 2 good coats of this reddish color that I mixed up myself. I'm sorry, I don't have a name for it because I mixed it myself. Now that they're both dry, and you can see, y'all, it is not even. I have very uneven lines, but I'm okay with that. I take a fan brush and some black chalkboard paint, and we're going to distress both pieces of these pieces of foam board. I'm just kind of painting it on pretty lightly, heavy in some places, and then I'm going to go through with a paper towel and just rub it all in. I do the same exact thing to the other piece as well. Now we're going to cut out our roof. So on the smaller piece with the horizontal lines, I'm just kind of making what I think would be a barn roof shape. It's not going to be perfect. None of this is going to be perfect. And some people may look at this and say, oh my goodness, my kids could have done a better job. But I like rustic things, and I don't like everything to be perfect. So it was perfect for me. So after I get that cut out, I cut a few strips down to go around the roof, and I'm just painting those with some white Waverly chalk paint. And now we're just going to start attaching them. Again, y'all, this is not a perfect project, and some people, I understand, will not like this. But for me, it was exactly what I wanted. I wanted a little barn for my mantle or for my shelf, and this turned out exactly like I wanted it. So if it's not for you, I totally understand, but I love how it turns out. So now all I'm doing is taking those strips that I've cut down for around the roof, and we are just going to go through and hot glue those down. One on each side, a smaller one on the top. And we don't worry about the bottom yet. We'll do that in just a minute. Now, I will tell you, I did go back through and distress these with some black chalkboard paint, and you'll see that at the final reveal. But for some reason, I've lost a little bit of footage here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our smaller piece and put it right on top of our taller piece. And we're going to use this big piece of trim for the bottom of the roof to kind of glue those together. And you can see I'm just doing like a zigzag so that there's glue on each piece. And this glues those together perfectly. Now we're just going to take some more little strips that I made. I'm sorry I don't have measurements. Y'all know I don't measure anything. I just cut it out to what looked good. So again, I just cut them down to the size that I want, and we are making our little barn door. All I'm basically doing is making a square out of these smaller, thinner pieces, and this is all foam. These I did not worry about painting. I just left them white like they were. And now we're just going to make our X for the inside of our door, just cutting down these pieces you can see here to the size that we need. Y'all already know I'm the messy crafter, so I guess my mess doesn't surprise many of you. And then for the next side, we're just going to do the top part of the X and the bottom part of the X in 2 different pieces. That way we can have them not overlapping that bigger piece there in the middle. After we get that finished, we're going to make a little wreath for our barn. We're going to do that by taking 2 garland ties from the Dollar Tree and just putting those together by twisting them around each other, making a circle. Then I'm using this snowy pick that I got last year from the Dollar Tree, Snowy Greenery. And we are just going to start taking this and gluing it all the way around the circle of the wreath. I just liked this contrast with that, the garland tie, and then with this greenery. I like how this looks, so that's what we're doing. After that, we are just going to go ahead and take some buffalo check ribbon from the Dollar Tree and make a little bow. I just made a really super simple shoestring bow. I didn't want anything too fancy on this. Again, I'm trying to make this look farmhousey, country, rustic, you know, so I didn't need a big fancy bow on this. And we are just going to glue that right to the top. I decided it needs just a little bit more. So I do take a pick that I have that had some berries on it. I cut off the berries and just glue those on the sides as well. And y'all, that's it. Again, not perfect. Oh, I'm sorry. I do glue this to our barn. I just put glue on the back of the wreath and glue it right down to the barn. Again, it's not perfect. Some people would not like it. Some people would say, oh my goodness, my kids could have done a better job than that. But this is for my home, and I absolutely love how it turned out. I can't wait to get started decorating for Christmas so that I can get all of these projects out and decorate my home. Okay, I hope you all loved each and every one of these DIYs today. Y'all know I love and appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. Y'all come back now. You hear?